You're listening to Real Estate and Bourbon. Whether you like it neat or on the rocks, you're in the right place. And now your host, Dawn Roy.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
Here we are. Another episode of Real Estate and Bourbon with your girl Dawn and Sister Susan.
What's up, kids?
Gather around for story time.
Look at this shirt.
Turo.
Yeah. Because I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was the rental. By the way, you can rent a car from me.
No plugging unless you want to be a sponsor.
Is that how they spell it?
No.
No, I think it's the U's not there.
No, the U is there. The O.
So I got
after
this as a gift, and I think it's kind of rad.
And it goes with the kick-ass boots you have on. So
Yeah.
we'll have to take a photo of that and show
Also, maybe like a small little, like a Taurus, so we know we're in the season of Taurus right now.
Is that right?
Well, it's coming up.
I'm in the season of bourbon, so
Which
I just
means
thought.
which means it's almost my birthday, but go ahead.
Well, let's move on, all right? Do you do the month birthday or the week-long birthday? Are you one of those birthday people that it's like, it's my birthday week?
Nah. No.
Yeah, I just
Do
get
you
excited.
like your birthday? I don't like my birthday.
What do you mean, like when
could
it
not
lands?
think of a better day than my birthday.
Yeah, I'm not a birthday person.
Well, I'm a summer birthday, so I never got to have school parties.
Oh.
You know.
I just think my day's a cool day. I think May the 13th is just a cool day.
Yeah.
Especially when it lands on a Friday.
Right.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm the first day of summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's nice. Right.
Yeah, mine's after all the holidays and everything.
Is it just what day is
Is
it?
it like in the middle of the winter?
January 4th?
Yeah, it's the middle of the winter.
That's a fun day.
You can make it fun.
You know who else we could ask about their birthday?
Who?
There's another guest in the room.
True, although I was starting to think he didn't exist and that you were going under a pseudonym when you messaged me on other things. My sweet and precious Eddie, welcome
Hello.
to the show.
Thank you. Thank you
This
for
is
having me.
really the creativity.
First time, long time.
No offense, but he's the video
First
dude.
time,
Yes.
long time listener.
Long time
Long
editor.
time listener, probably one of the first subscribers because I asked him to.
Since he created the YouTube channel.
No shit.
And
And I was back and I was like, I want the logo to be pink. Now I'm rethinking that. So I think let's ditch the pink. But
That should be a shirt. Ditch the pink.
it
I
should-
don't know what it means, but it sounds good.
It
It's
sounds
classy.
good.
Yes.
I mean, I love pink, but I just don't know if it fits the bourbon.
You know what?
it
Yeah.
does.
Does
Pink
it?
is not a color. It's
We-
an attitude.
You know
Well,
what?
my front
need
door
it.
is painted pink.
I
You know
know.
that. It's Rachel Pink by Sherwin-Williams. Find it
We
at your
need a
local
t-shirt.
retailer. Huh?
We need a T-shirt for
We
the
need
summer.
to get a t-shirt. We got the glasses. Oh, speaking of which, we've got to pour something in these glasses. I've already poured my friend Eddie a little bit. He's going to love this.
Here.
So this is Catoctin Creek. It is out of Purcellville, Virginia. It is a Virginia 100% rye. Amazing. Amazing. And it's only 80 proof. Only 80. I really gave a good sip on this one last night.
Whoa,
You can
you
ask
opened
Milton
that
about
last
that. I opened it last night. So,
No
and
judgment.
we're probably less than halfway down. So I was introduced to this bourbon at the bar at Buckhead's.
Oh.
The lovely people at Buckhead's. And I've got to
Getting
look.
fancy.
Oh, I know. It's a great bar, super fantastic scene.
reminds me of a
The
bad
bartender
Friday night.
suggested a whiskey cocktail. And it is called Afternoon at Nichols. And
How do
it's
you-
lovely.
How do you feel about whiskey cocktails, by the way?
I'm not a huge fan, and I will tell you, I did try that cocktail just because I wanted to try this particular rye, but I'm not a big fan of simple syrups and sweet. So I did one, and then I just went to that straight. Just hit
Okay.
me with that neat, and let's call it a day. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So my friend, so nice to meet you, my sweetie. There you go. Michael, you've been hiding him from me.
Yeah, he's a hard man to get.
It's so smooth.
Feels so
good.
smooth going
Am I
down.
right?
Yeah, it's very good.
She won't drink hers, most likely. She'll sniff at it, maybe.
There's like no
It
bone to
just
that at
brings
all.
back some really bad memories.
Of high school.
Like, you know when you see
Yeah,
those
but that
reels
stuff-
and it's like, woo, 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 and it's like all these different clips. That's like it makes the hair stand up
But
on
the
the arms.
stuff
Like,
you did in high school, this is much better than the cheap stuff we had to buy because we could. I mean, come on.
Yeah, just.
It's good though, isn't it?
It's delicious. It leaves a nice light rye on your
It really
pineapple.
does. So it's 100% rye. It's that distillery started in I think 2009.
Okay.
And they're fairly award-winning, actually. Go on their website. It is a local. ABC. You can get it $45, give or take. It's not
That's not bad at all.
no. That's a hell of a bottle right there. So, and typically, like your Angel Envy, the ones that get into the 80s, I have a tendency to stay away from because I feel like they're almost like a Pinot Noir. They're almost too thin.
Okay.
But that's got a nice peppery bite on it for an 80 proof.
Yeah, no,
Usually you
it's
have to
really
get
good.
into the mid 90s to. Anyway, that's just. I'm in love, as you can see. I probably did have a few too many last night, but I don't think anybody complained.
Well, I don't think anyone probably noticed. To be perfectly honest with you. Because you know what?
What?
You only get more fabulous if that is a thing. You're
Wow.
welcome.
I will kiss you on the mouth on camera because it's probably.
Whoa!
You know what that's called? Kindness.
Oh, it is.
What a segue.
Man.
Here,
Here,
here.
you stick around.
Stick
I'll
around.
show you how this is done.
See what it helps to bring the old boyfriend in here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another story for another time.
Yeah.
He's not her boyfriend, but he looks like an old boyfriend.
Yeah, he was like, whoa.
She got all flustered.
No, I got a little angry.
Yeah, yeah.
Got a little angry.
Do you remember
Fire started to build up
Fire,
again.
and then realize he's kind and sweet, and he said,
What are you doing here? It's not your playground.
Yeah.
You don't own me.
"I've moved on." MFer.
We broke up.
We broke up. We were not on a break.
For 18 years. 20, longer than that.
Well, it was 17, so I'm 50, almost 3. So, yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, well,
and,
it's okay.
several children later.
Yeah,
And the sweeties.
yeah.
The sweetness.
Good goodness.
No, great segue, right, Eddie?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. No, it is. That's kind of why I'm with her because, and it's been a month now. I'm getting my first commission check tomorrow. OG commission.
Cha-ching.
OG commission.
How has it been?
It's fantastic. It is fantastic. Do you have any idea how many phone calls I have to field from other agents asking me why I came to a boutique brokerage from a large box brokerage?
No.
It's ridiculous. They're all curious because they want to be. Well, they want to be me. I mean, get real, you know.
Duh.
And they know you. Who was I talking to? I was texting to go see a house. I think it was Gail, who I just yummy Gail Peace.
Gail Peace. I mean,
Yummy.
you could put her in there and drink her up.
She's amazing. And
She's
she's like,
lovely.
I saw that you went over to Susan's. I'm like, I know, it's amazing. She goes, you guys are fabulous together.
She's precious.
Perfect match. Yeah, she's
precious.
delightful.
I like her so much.
If you ever get a chance to talk to her, I'll encourage all that. So.
You know, I think how often in this real estate world do we? Because I think it's pretty often that we come across people. They're like, man, they are good people.
Yeah.
Like they are really good people. They are kind and
They do their job well.
gracious
Yes.
and all the things. And I don't know why, but sometimes that one vile human that you come across.
I love the facial expressions. All of you on Spotify, y'all need to come over here to the YouTube because you're missing some good stuff.
And I'm going to just leave it there. Vile.
Yes.
You take what you
I am
pick-
already reading it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, yeah. So, make it so hard
Yeah.
to come back and be kind to that behavior.
I agree.
And also, so, I'm a huge Matthew McConaughey fan. Like,
I wouldn't say no.
oh, Lord.
I wouldn't say no either. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Eddie.
Get an amen.
Eddie, go get him right now.
It is.
Amen
So-
to you, brother.
He
like in the green
is
room.
just like,
He's so yummy.
he is yummy and he's funny and his voice and all the thing. Anyway, I was listening to he put on this thing called The Art of Living, Livin. And he was talking yesterday about when you tell little white lies, and I think we get that a lot in this business, that it leaves crumbs. He calls it leaving crumbs. And eventually you got to sweep up those crumbs. Mm-hmm. And you circle back and think, oh, damn.
What did I tell that one?
What did I tell?
That one.
Yeah. And I feel like that I catch and it's a fair amount of agents that I'm like, really? Because yesterday you told me.
Right. They can't keep track of who they've said what to. That's the problem.
Right. They're leaving crumbs.
Yeah.
So do you run into that a lot?
Well, you do. And the problem that you and I have, or any of the agents like the Gail Pieces of the world and the wonderful women that you have in your brokerage is, when you don't operate that way and you're telling our buyers depend on us to convey information, right? And so if you convey information, well, the agent told me X, and then it really isn't the truth, and something happens and they lose the house or don't get to have the chance to see whatever, then it's you they're angry with, because I'm the face. They don't know anything about this agent, right? And so
they're trusting you.
They're trusting me, and then I get angry. I mean, I don't let it go on forever, but I mean, I'm like, damn it, that's one now. I put that agent in a little place in my head. I don't trust that one, so I'm going to always be skeptical. A little skeptical.
Yeah.
Scutterbutt. We're not going to go there with them. You know what I mean? It's just, and it's interesting that you mentioned about him and what he's talking about, the crumbs. I was watching a video, I don't think it was a TED Talk, but a lady talking about this very same thing, and I'll hunt up her name so we can add her to the narrative and him to the narrative. She was saying that people who lie don't think that it says your body knows it. So good things do not come to those who are constantly lying and deceiving others. Because she said, because your physical nature knows it, your heart knows it, your organs, it starts to weigh on you. It's not good for the body. It's not good for your health. You know what I mean? Because we always look at people and go, why are they getting away with stuff? They get away. They might appear to be getting away. I don't think they're getting away with anything. And I don't know any of these people, and I know some of the folks that you're talking about, they don't ever seem happy to me or satisfied.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
And I don't want to live that way.
Yeah. I tried, and I am sarcastic, and I am sometimes don't have a filter.
Wonderfully so.
But at the end of the day, am kind. And I know that about me. So. Absolutely. And I will deliver bad news to you if I need to, but I'm not going to lie about it. It's going to be hey, this happened and it sucks but it's the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth rather than trying to build it up. And I will tell you kind of, and it happens all the time of, hey, do you have any offers on the table? Yeah, I do.
Oh, absolutely.
And they don't. So what happens, I think, with me sometimes is my clients go, then forget it. I don't want to get into a bidding war.
Oh, yeah. It can go.
I don't want to get into a bidding war. And then they're like, are you going to submit an offer? I'm like, no, they don't want to get into a bidding war. Oh.
Well, I don't have it yet. It's been promised. Then they start backtracking. It's coming into my email or whatever. I mean, I got caught up in that nonsense. It's funny that we're talking about this. I had this cutie little thing, and she's buying her first home, and the agent, I had a feeling he was lying to me. Do you have any offers? And he says, yes. And the one you're probably going to write. I was the only one that came in. We didn't go above list, thankfully so. But he was, I just could feel it. And so what I conveyed to my little buyer, he says he has an offer. I'm a little on the fence on that, but we just need to do what we want to do regardless of whether he does or not. What is the house value to you? Let's just play this game as if we're the only dog in town. What value is it for you in this house? Right. You know what I mean? And so he was a little bit difficult to deal with, 4-digit agent, if you get my drift. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Susan knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Others out there who are agents.
An OG to the MLS.
An OG to the MLS. Who, needs to go fishing and hunting and move on. Thank you for your service. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it's hard to protect your people when you're getting false information. And it's false. Because if you run across some of these agents more than once, they have a reputation.
Yeah. So I had a conversation this morning with an agent, and it started out with hey, it's Susan Morse with OpenGate. Good morning. You would have thought that I said, your wife looks like a mud pie and your children have 15 heads. He came at me like, and I was like, hey, ho, I know what you're going to say. I'm like, do you? Is your ego that big that you are inside of my brain and know what I'm going to say? Well, I know what you're going to say. I said, well, let's hear. I cannot wait.
So hold on, Jack. Let me sit down and pull one up.
I cannot wait for you to tell me what I'm going to say right now. Well, and I'm not going to say because it would give away
who the asshole is.
Yeah. So, and I
hold
said,
on a minute. I'm gonna put 75 cents in.
Said you are being condescending to me, and I said, when you act like a child, you get spoken to like a child. So you choose how you would like. If you would like to talk to me like an adult, we will
continue
talk like an adult. Otherwise, I'm going to hang up. You can't click.
All right, so hold on. We're going to pause just a moment. Don't forget your thought where you are. I'm begging you as a sister. Put me on speaker fucking phone when you get one of those going on. I got to hear this.
Well, the beautiful
that would have made my morning, right, Eddie?
It makes people feel better when somebody's a breath of fresh air and like, that's what I would have said if I could have thought of it fast enough.
I would like to know. I'd like to have the courage to do that, or I'd like to have a sense of myself and my business and my, understanding of what I'm doing to come back like a viper at some of these people because they need pushback.
Well, I think so. My husband happened to be there, and he comes around the corner and is like, has this incredulous look on his face.
Like who are you fucking with this one?
Do you need me to go? And I'm like, so sure enough, phone rings again.
Here they are.
Susan Morris. You hung up. I said, I told you I was going to hang up the phone. Now, here we are in circle time. Crisscross applesauce. If you can speak nicely, we will have a conversation. You can't talk.
Big.
Are you serious?
Oh my God. That is the best thing. Now do you understand why I joined her brokerage?
I'm not going to entertain
here's the thing. I have a theory.
Crazy behavior.
I have a theory also that there's people out there that have conditioned where they cannot have a proper phone conversation. Because they text.
They're texters, and they don't know how to communicate verbally.
And so I'm half and half. I'm definitely a phone person first when I'm driving or driving. But there's people out there that because you can't when you're texting somebody, you can be verbal or whatever.
You can dance around things.
Yeah, but you're it's a little bit harder to show your face, so to speak, or true colors right off the bat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And talking with somebody, there's emphasis, there's kindness, there's certain things that are right off the bat. You can tell that the conversation is going to go a certain way. Obviously, you knew exactly what to do, but I think there's people out there that just don't know how to have proper phone etiquette,
right,
whatsoever.
I think the scary thing about that is you are 100% correct, and at the same time, this person
is old enough,
acts this way
anyway.
In person, on the phone, over text, like all caps.
So they're a bully.
They're a complete bully. And that's what my husband said this morning. He's like, he's a bully. And he doesn't like that you are...
not taking his shit.
Well, and I'm not, like... I was like, man, was that kind of... like, how could I have responded differently? And I thought, well, me engaging in his behavior is not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to tell him, like I tell my kids, until you can calm down.
Exactly.
And we can have a conversation respectfully, then we're not going to have the conversation. Because you may say some things, I may say some things. Let's just table it for a second.
Yes.
But you come at me? Nah, I'm good.
Well, in the proper way, in normal people who are, self-aware, and I would not put this person in that category, would have called back and said, "Hey, you just caught me you kind of hit me wrong. I got caught. I was dealing with something else. I'm so sorry. Please allow me to answer your questions." Because I've seen you do that, and I've done that. Like sometimes I snap off and I didn't mean it. I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute. I just let's reel it back. Let me, blah 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 blah. Let me rectify this. Let me take responsibility for what just happened."
Yeah, I think that can give myself credit to say, if I see visibly that I have caught somebody off guard, or I'm like, you know what? I apologize for that comment. That did not come out like I meant it to.
Right.
It looks like I hurt your feelings. I 100% did not. Like, take responsibility for your actions.
Absolutely.
And for what comes out of your big fat mouth.
And that's a strength. By the way, being self-aware and being willing to apologize, I think, is a strength. It's not the weakness that our culture wants to make it look like. We don't have to know all the answers all the time to every damn thing. No. That's not the game.
Tell you, Eddie, all the time.
Eddie, push back on that, okay? Because I'm gonna be on your side of the camp. I'm gonna cheer you on. You're the one holding the bourbon.
As consumers, right? I mean, you guys are not in real estate. I mean, assuming, since we're sitting in a home, that you bought said home and we're not just squatting in here, and that, Eddie, you have a home as well. You don't live in a tent on the side of the road, which would be fabulous if you did.
Or if you're in a camper.
Happy to bring
no judgment.
I just got back from visiting San Francisco for the first time, so I'm not interested in living on the street or in a tent or anything.
Because you saw
like that.
a lot of that.
I did.
He had a problem with the Cash App guy, so.
Yeah. Too soon.
Too soon.
So,
table that just a moment.
So in this industry, when you bought your home, you relied on your agents to.
Didn't you build your home? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you
relied on the
home,
you relied on the information from another party.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but I think sometimes too, agents want their clients to know that they're working really hard for them. And so sometimes they're like, I told her, we're not taking that. We're going to take.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Like you can deliver that news like, hey, you know what? I really went to bat for you here. And I think we are at a place where it comes. It hits
delivery
differently.
Yes.
So as a consumer, how do you guys, what has been your experience with kindness in this industry versus?
Well, I see it more firsthand than Eddie does, but Eddie has
Well, that's
definitely.
because of what you do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, like Eddie, we definitely have clients that have definitely.
The problem is that I'm pretty much a sensitive soul, so I pick up on those things.
I knew that about him. I just felt
so
it.
Yeah.
we have. It's funny. Just like maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was just randomly thinking, if I needed to sell my house, out of all the realtors that I've worked with over the years, who would I pick? And I'm going to go based on personality, who I
Right.
connect with, who I would trust.
Right.
And I'm not going to trust somebody that's a bully. It's off-putting right off the bat. If someone said that to me, even on my behalf. Like, well, I told them this. I'd be like, okay, well, I don't think I'm ever going to use you ever again. Because that's not the way I would want to be talked to.
That's not how you want to be presented.
Yeah, exactly. It's my representation, and I don't want my representation to be a bully. So,
Right.
But
That's such a great point because it comes across like, well, these guys, the sellers are assholes or the buyers are assholes.
Right.
It's like,
It creates controversy that doesn't need to be there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of agents who think their value statement is putting on armor every day and going to bat for you and to bully others.
Right.
And if that is the type of agent anyone ever wants me to be, I'm not your girl. because I'm conciliatory. We're all working towards the same goal. My buyer or seller, we're all trying to move this train in the same direction to get everybody to the life or the place that they're trying to be. And I don't find anywhere in that platform a need to hammer the other folks, because there's going to be give and take on both sides. Regardless, seller's market, no seller's market, there's still a give and take. You know what I mean? And I think I've actually won deals for buyers, and we were not the most money on the table because the other side had worked with me before and knew I would get the deal done. And I was good, not easy to work with. I was efficient and was going to, you know what I mean? Because I don't put you in contract unless we're going to closing. Yeah. I'm not showing you houses until you're pre-approved. Things have to be put into place before any of this happens. Yeah. So I think a lot of agents fly by the seat of their pants and make shit up as they go, and they get nervous, and the bully comes out because they're trying to defend their position.
Yeah, they didn't do their homework.
They didn't do their homework. And I am comfortable where I am, and you are comfortable where you are, because we make you go through the right channels and processes, because if owning a home or selling your home is exactly what you want to do, you have to do it in a certain way. And if you're not willing to do it in a certain way that gets you to a successful resolution of your desires, then I'm likely going to stand up from that listing appointment and tell you, thanks so much, and I'll be the second agent because you're overpricing yourself. Thank you very much. I'll be back.
And I think, too, we don't just see it with other agents, right? So absolutely. I think yesterday I reached out to a lender. I'm the listing agent. Reached out to the lender on the other side, and I said, hey, just wanted to introduce myself. I just talked to my seller. We're trying to get a little bit of a tighter deadline because they are trying to set up movers from Richmond to Florida. So if you can give me some type of, update.
Yeah, where are we?
He responded with, we just went under contract late last week. That's where we are.
Okay, then.
And I responded with, thank you. I pinned it, so I know that we went under contract actually a week ago. And maybe it's just me, but I found an annoyance in your tone. So I'm used to my preferred lender updating me every week to let me know how things are going. And my clients expect that from me as well. So if you could just do that, that would be great. 10 seconds later, no annoyance. Sorry I came across that way. I've gotten the paperwork. Why couldn't he have just said that up front instead of being like, I just got the I can see him now.
It's like, ugh.
I just got the contract. What does she want from me? I was like, oh, no, no. This is what.
It's true, though. Completely true. I had the same conversation yesterday. We are on a tight close, a 3-week close, on a deal. And I reached out to the lender, and we've been under contract for over a week. And I said, so the appraisal's been ordered, right? Yeah. How's it going? First of all, I call you. You don't answer. I leave a lovely message. Thank you for calling. And then I emailed them and told them, and I sent a voicemail. I'm just checking on because we are tight. Are we on track? You'll be notified when the listing agent has been called about, the appraisal. I mean, just like, I don't even know if there was more than 2 sentences with 5 words each.
Yeah. I'm
like, okay, that makes me feel so warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. You know who I will refer to?
Who?
To you. Mr. Lender.
That's exactly right.
Well, if you think about it, it's kind of going in that direction in this day and age where everything's automated.
Correct.
You can't, there's less and less checkouts and more check yourself out and some of the thing.
Yeah.
So the interaction of a human, normal interaction on how to be kind is going further and further away.
You get out of practice.
You get out of practice, and then also you're not seeing it from other people and stuff like that. So it's taking that human out of it, so to speak. And
do you guys think COVID had anything to do with that?
No, I think social media had something to do with it.
Because I was just traveling with Abby over the weekend, and we stayed at a Marriott. So
COVID definitely pushed it.
I think it faster. Accentuated it.
So we check in. And, we're at a Marriott, so it's
a nice hotel.
Not inexpensive.
Yeah.
And she says, you will not have housekeeping while you're here for 3 days. And that doesn't work for me.
Yep. That's what they've gone to.
Like, it's not COVID anymore.
They're just short-staffed.
So I'm going to, I would like very much if we could have fresh towels every day.
And have our bed made. Thank you very much.
And, well, we'll put them in a,
like a bag and set them at your door or something? Or
yeah. Like, am I staying at Days Inn?
At $300 a night.
La Quinta, Susan. It's La Quinta.
Yeah. As Abby calls it, the La Quinta.
La Quinta.
It's Spanish for next to a Denny's. Yeah. She's a funny little thing.
That's probably very true.
Yeah.
And you can buy all your hashish in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And maybe get shot. I don't know. If you're lucky. Yeah, I think we are just. There's a book that my business coach, and I'm listening to it, so I can't. I'm not. It's called Overwhelming Hospitality or Over the Top Hospitality or something like that, and it's based in the food industry. He's like a chef at like in a top 50 restaurant in the United States, but he talks about going the extra, like doing the extra, doing the one more, and he said, right now, really the standard has dropped so much that even a little extra seems to be over the top extra.
Absolutely.
So he runs this restaurant in New York City, and there's no parking. So when they get there, most people they'll say, where did you park? And they say, oh, we parked on the corner. And they go, what are you driving? And whatever. And they'll say, great. Well, I'm gonna, enjoy your meal. Take your time. We'll run out and feed the meter for you. And it's just one of those things that they do.
It's a little extra that no one's thinking of or expecting.
Right. So they're paying maybe
premium
$150 a plate to eat, and they're dropping 50 cents in the meter, but it makes the $150 meal worth it for the 50 cents.
Right.
Correct.
So, but he talks about the kindness in that of just, that's just go the little extra.
Just look for another way to be decent and kind to another human being, for crying out loud. Make that part of your business model. I know that comes as a shock. Do it. I find really interesting? My son sits at home, has been at home since March of 2020. The company he works for is never going to go back in the office because he's not consumer facing. So he does background stuff. He's on the computer all day long. And I didn't know, but for the millennials, there's a thing called quiet quitting. It's a new term for the mama to understand. And quiet quitting means whatever your salary is, you're going to work to that level and no more. I mean, it's a thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He and I have dates. We go over to a bar sometimes and we just have lunch or something and a couple of drinks. I just want to catch up with him. And I'm like, quiet quitting is, you work up to your salary. That's kind of what people are doing now. And I said, what an opportunity for you. And he goes, what do you mean? You work beyond your salary. You do more than your salary.
So who is determining what their salary? I got my foot caught up in my chair.
The boot. It's the boot or something.
That could have been bad.
I'm telling you, if you're on Spotify or anything that's audio only, you've got to come and watch this show.
Could have flipped over.
It would have been. I would have laughed and then picked you up, and it would have been.
I would have laughed hysterically, but I would have pulled this table down with me.
Yeah, and I would have been catching the bourbon as it goes off. But I mean, to be honest with you, he was taken back when I said you should out, because my generation, whatever they paid you was irrelevant. You did 110%. You did more than. I said, Aaron, do you understand? If you do more than what they expect, you will be the one that stands out. You will get the attention. You can move into management. You can get into places of authority with your company. And he never looked at it that way. I mean, he does a great job, and he's always doing more than they ask. But I'm like, use this to your advantage. If other people are not working hard, you outwork their asses.
Yeah.
That mentality is like long gone. I mean, like looking at the clock and like not like it's just like if people who work at home have an opportunity to also do something else on top of working at home. I mean, I'd have 7 jobs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to do stuff at home because I just like maximize my time as much as I can.
Right.
They don't think that way anymore.
No.
They don't think that way.
And I was shocked. I mean, have you ever heard that term?
Never have.
I thought he was messing with me. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, I can do Instagram and TikTok. I'm not totally inept. And he's like, no, it's called, the new people, it's young people, it's called quiet quitting. You only work to the level that you're being paid, and after that, they don't get any more from you.
I guess so. My question is, who decides what that level is?
I think they decide.
What is this, union?
I think the employees, I think young people go, okay, I'm making 40. This is about $40,000 worth of effort. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not staying late. I'm not doing more. I'm not catering.
They will definitely go far in life.
Yeah, they will.
That's not just a business thing though. That actually reflects on you in other areas of your life. Mm-hmm. So you think about your marriage. Well, I'm not gonna do but so much because that's all this.
That's
is
all
worth
I'm
to me.
getting.
Yeah,
that's all I'm being given.
That's all I agreed to.
So it's like it could be that, it could be your friendships.
That garbage on the can is on the ground next to it. I'm not going to pick it up. It's not mine. I don't have to pick it up and pick it in the trash. No.
All those folded clothes.
I'm not going to help that lady with the groceries because she looks like she's struggling real quick to put a bag of or a case of water in there for her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what, Eddie? I think those are the people that leave their grocery cart in the middle of the parking lot.
Oh God.
Those,
especially when it's so close.
When
it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
When it's that far away, I always ask somebody, "Hey, do you need a cart?" Because I really don't want to walk all the way over.
It does your body good. Walk, damn it.
No, I do it, but I'm saying the first thing I look for is like, anybody need a cart?
I was at Costco like 2 weeks ago, and there was a lady who was struggling to get the cart up onto the curb so she could just leave it there. And I guess I gave her, one of my
side eyes.
And she was like, I can't. And I was like,
it's not supposed to go there.
I think it goes right there where it says cart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
call me crazy.
Call me literate,
I think I read above a 5th grade level. Just
That's
saying.
right.
You know what I mean? But it's true, though. It's exactly right. Everything bleeds over. So if you're a butthole professionally in your job, I mean, you're probably a butthole to the wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
or
a safe
in your
assumption.
kids. I mean, I worked for dentists who probably, they were good clinicians, but I watched their interactions with staff. And even I had this one guy, he and I got into it pretty heavy. I mean, I was screaming at him. I know. I don't come across that way. Well, he was telling me I was doing something wrong, and I was telling him he was wrong. I mean, I'm telling a DDS. I'm like, you're wrong. All of them, I had all my clothes, my whole.
You had all your clothes on? Is that
What?
what you're
Shut the fuck. I had my lab coat on. There you go. I had my lab coat on.
What was wrong?
I had my lab coat on. I was trying to get my lab coat put together. I was like, all my hygienists, all my education in the hygiene world. And here's a DDS who's got way more years in education than I do. And we argued over something. But when his wife came in and was a patient of mine, he treated her with the same disdain in front of me. And I was horrified, number one, but I went, that's who he is.
Yeah.
You don't separate yourself.
Right.
So the people that you run against in business, this is what they're doing to everybody in their own life. I mean, and I can't remember his last name, but he's an asshole. Davey, you're a prick, and I hope you've retired, just so you know. And I'll throw in a whole bunch of quarters for that one.
Case closed.
God rest your soul, Davey. Maybe we should write Davey on there.
Yeah, Davey's a big ass piece of shit.
When I worked in the car
Dawn
business,
is working on getting her feelings out.
Okay, I'm switching glasses with Susan because I've drunk mine. Drank.
not just a
have
podcast,
had,
it's therapy.
and she didn't touch it. Hers didn't.
when I worked
Shit.
in the
I'm
car
just saying,
business,
I gotta get myself together.
there was a term that we'd use in the computer system when we would pull up clients and customers or whatever.
Yeah.
It was called preferred customer, and the preferred part was, watch out, they're a problem.
So
and
preferred
so
was not a positive term.
It was
for
not
you.
a positive. They didn't know
Did
that.
you say
And
clustemer?
Customer.
Oh, I
Customer.
was like, because that would have been
How
I like cluster.
cluster,
You're not
right?
customer. That would be a good one.
Kind of like a cluster.
Yeah,
You go to that one. Yeah.
So, but on the ticket, it would say, preferred customer, and
it was a
thought
negative for you guys.
Yeah, but it was,
Meaning no one wants to mess with these people.
yeah, just be on your best behavior, basically. It was.
I don't want to be around people like that. I just don't.
That's why I don't go to car dealerships. Just saying.
Well, I don't want to be around people who are a pain in the ass.
That's why I walk and bike everywhere I go.
That's right.
You and I have talked about this. I love the third wheel shouting it out. It's good stuff. But you and I have talked about this. We've had it on the podcast. It's okay as realtors or any profession. Everybody has a right to say no to an offer to do business.
Yeah, without explanation.
Without explanation. The sweet, precious Angel, and I'll have to give him a shout out. My little dog had to go to puppy camp because she was an asshole. And he's made her so lovely and enjoyable, and he's delightful. And we had this conversation. I said, Mark, because he talks about some of the people that are so demanding, and when he's taken a lot of time to train their dog. And I said, you should have the right to say no. You're not the right fit. I'm not the right fit. This facility's not the right fit. And it's like I saw his mind go. But we all have the right in our own businesses to say no.
You're an asshole and I have 2 good legs. Bye-bye.
Boom.
As I say it all the time, the answer's no.
How you take it is not my problem. That's your problem.
The answer's no.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, why does it take us so long, some of us anyway, why does it take us so long to get to that point where we're able to say, yeah, I think the hassle of this interchange between me and this other person is going to be so, it's not even going to be worth the money, or
right.
It's just going to be a complete waste of my time. It may get done. I may make something off of it, but it's going to stress me out beyond make me frustrated.
Well, this is
that's a good point because
in therapy who we need to talk to.
Yeah, because Eddie definitely knows that I take it a lot longer than I should from certain clients. And there's been times where some people have stepped in to either let that person go or to say, hey, you're being railroaded here. So I
think you have to have respect for your own business greater than.
I'm a people pleaser, so
and that's well and fine and good, but you have to have enough respect for your business and your business model that this is how I do business, and if it fits in your business, great. But if it doesn't, okay. Because there's enough, the reality is there's enough sand on the beach. I think the answer to this is people have a scarcity mentality, and they think, well, if I don't take that advantage of that opportunity to do business, whether it be a listing or a photography shoot or whatever it is, then when's the next one? Right. I don't worry about it anymore. The next one always comes because as long as you do good business with good people, the next one will always come. It will always come.
What my coach taught me about 8 years ago when I was, starting my team really around that time. And she was like, I want you to write a list of your standards. They're your standards, whatever you want them to be. And if at any point anyone comes into your life, business or personal, and they don't meet those standards, then the answer is no. Right. And if you lower your standard, that's on you. Right. And so I would find myself sometimes like excusing their behavior because I liked them. So being like, yeah,
it's just a one-off. It'll be, it's going to be okay.
And then I'm like, you're lowering your standard for someone else. Yeah. Is that who you are? And not to be egotistical, but no. Like, this is my standard for people that I spend time with and people that I do business with. And I would love for you to be up here with me and to raise yourself up. Mm. If you're not, then no. Right. And I think it's hard because of a little bit of a scarcity mentality, but also sometimes we are willing to please other people more than pleasing ourselves because we look at that as being selfish. Like, well, I know you can only get a 2:00, photography and I have something I'm supposed to do, but I really like you. So I'll make it work. No, my 2:00 is full. whether I'm taking my kid to the park or whether I have it blacked off for me? The answer is no. And if they
don't respect that
and are not loyal to you, then they're using you. So I feel, and I still have that list of standards in my journal, and it is what it is. And if you don't meet it, I don't mean any harm to you. I'm not trying to be mean or a bitch or an asshole or anything, but this is how I operate my life. And when I look around, the people that meet those standards are the people that I want to spend time with, and they make me better. And at the end of the day, I think that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
For me, because the money is never.
The money will come.
Once you've attached a dollar amount to a person.
Yes.
And that's when you really get into trouble, is when they just become a transaction. Because they'll feel it, you feel it, and I'm not going to do that. If I see you only, and we could do another podcast, so many agents, it's just a transactional thing. I can't be transactional. You know what I mean? There's I had a client say to me one time, when they sold their home in Williamsburg and were moving here, she said, I felt that there was a T emblazoned on my forehead because they used the word transaction to me. I mean, I was like, ooh, light bulb moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times, to be honest with you, regardless of what we do for a living, if we just ask our client base, the people that we, are in business with, what do you expect from a photographer, from a realtor? What are you looking? Because a lot of times we have it in our head what we think the public wants.
Right.
It's best to ask them. And if we find out, well, what you're asking or what you're wanting me to do does not fit into my business model, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, because to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, when I go on a buyer meeting or a listing appointment, I'm interviewing you too, because I don't really know if I want this gig.
Yeah. What are your expectations? These are mine.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've got to share the story.
Please.
I'm gonna like edit it down though. Like I'll edit it a little bit.
This might be a two-parter.
This
and if
completely-
it's a two-parter,
We talked
feel
about
free.
this.
So we'll just say there was an instance where someone showed up for a service and they arrived 10, 15 minutes early or something.
What kind of service are we talking about?
This is recent,
Nothing that would
actually.
be in the red light district. Nothing
right.
would be
We're just,
Grace Street.
Right. We're just
whatever.
clarifying.
I know this story.
Right.
by the
I
way.
called you
He
after
called
this.
me on the road.
I don't know the story.
He's
All
like,
right.
where are you? And he goes, and I said, well, I'm in my car. He goes, I just need you to listen. I'm going to vent. All right.
All right. I don't know the
Speakerphone
story.
it is.
Do you want to tell the story?
Go, Eddie.
You've gotta
removing
tell the
stuff?
story.
Okay,
No,
I'll tell
you
the story.
gotta tell
Okay. So arrived 10 to 15 minutes
So the professional
early.
arrived at their appointment.
to do the service that was contracted to be done on the property. And the person there that had contracted the service was completely flustered and took it out on the professional. You're always early. You're always, you're too early, and I just can't deal with this. Nothing's ready. I'm not going to do this anymore. Just totally blasted the person. So as a professional and as being sensitive to the situation, wanting to do what you had just said, which is try to find out what this person needs to make this a better situation, was trying to communicate with them. I'm sorry, what can I do? Can I help you move this? Can I help do this? Can I help get ready in some way, shape, or form? And nothing, just wouldn't break the
Wouldn't break the ice.
No, and finally at the end just said, you know what? I realize that this has not been the way you wanted it to be. I'm willing to just not take any money from this situation. I'll give you what you need, and we'll just walk away from it. And they insisted still on paying or whatever. Come to find out, they still ended up doing the service again with them after all of that mess. But it's like, if you just communicate better with one another, and someone's going to think automatically, if I arrive a little early, not like an hour early, but if I arrive a little early, that's professional. I'm there in case you need me. I don't want somebody to show up right on time to the minute, and I don't want somebody to be late. Definitely, I want them to be a little early in case I need to ask questions.
Yeah, I try
or
to show
whatever,
up 10 minutes early before everything.
Right.
I know this story. I have an inside scoop on this shit. So what is your take?
I guess my question would be, and I'm asking, I'm not looking for, I don't have an answer in my head, but did that person who spoke in that way meet your standard, or whoever the professional was, meet the standard of that business?
Yes, the listing itself was perfect. It wasn't. It was just the fact that I was there, on literally
10 minutes early,
out of my car, camera in hand, on the grass, like ready to go, and it was, like, I don't know, like. Has
this person responded in this way before?
Not really. No.
So maybe it was just a one-off, having a bad day?
I took it as that after the whole fact, but it was definitely...
it was a little bit over the top.
Yeah. Oh.
It was way over the top.
Way over the top. So, yeah, I have never, ever wanted to get in my car and drive away and leave the person hanging.
and not do the job.
Yeah, I was so close.
And that's saying a lot, because Mike does everything he can to make sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I was so close, and so I kept my mouth shut. I waited till it was
the
done.
appropriate time.
Yeah, because also it wasn't the person who owned the house was a investor. That it wasn't like a personal. So I knew,
right.
But she was like
losing it,
and I was like, your client's right here. What the heck?
You need to.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was trying to calm down the situation. And and then she's like trying to write me a check right there and some of that. And she's like, how much? I'm like, I'm not, this is ridiculous. I've known you for how long? I said, well, I'm not doing this. This is not who I am or you are. Like, what is going on?
Has this agent apologized to you?
No.
Can I offer some advice?
So, I mean, she called me the next week or the next couple days.
She's used your service again, but she's not apologized for the outburst.
Yeah. So
your advice would be, I already know what you're going to say.
I wouldn't. I think it's a one-off. I think people have bad days.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's important that we let other people know how they made us feel.
Yeah.
And to say, hey, you know what? I know it's been a couple of weeks. I appreciate you. I appreciate your business. I appreciate you supporting mine. But this has kind of stuck with me, and it's been kind of sitting kind of heavy. And I just want you to know that that just wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And because we teach people how to treat us.
No, thank you.
So
yeah.
I have a really hard time. I get it. We're flustered sometimes. We're hangry. We're angry about something else. We take it out on somebody else.
Well, I'm a person that doesn't hold grudges. I don't like rehash. Like, I don't stick it back in their face. I don't say, well, you did this. Or,
I don't think you have to.
I don't think you have to
or like, so I always try to basically say what you're think, okay, this person, obviously this is not about me. This is training reactions of things have happened throughout the day or whatever.
Right.
But it was definitely a situation where I was like, blew me away. Like I was flustered.
Well, this brings us full circle to what we started talking about at the very beginning, about the phone call that you had with XYZ agent. It would have been best on his behalf to call and go, my bad. What's your question? I'm sorry that it came across that way. You know what I mean? Same thing in this situation that you're talking about.
It's just a respect issue for the other person. And I know we don't all talk to people the same way, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, it's over, but it's still sitting a little bit heavy with me. And I just wanted you to know. And it gives
them an opportunity. They may want this door to be opened to give them an opportunity.
I don't know. I know when I have been a jackass to somebody and then I see them again, it leaves a crumb. It's a crumb.
It's a crumb.
Oh, we really have come full circle today, folks.
I know, right? It's definitely a crumb.
See how I do that, Eddie?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, she's got skills.
Consummate professional over there.
She's got skills. That one there.
But that agent left a crumb, and it's still sitting out there.
And it will never go away, I have to tell you, until it's just like your boyfriend. It will never go away till there's closure.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, though, God is a fair man, because I did see a picture of him the other day, and I'm like, You peaked at 17, didn't you?
Woo!
You peaked at 17.
Yeah, and the honey pot you ended up with is just yummy.
He's smooth like rye.
Oh my God!
All right.
I'm telling you. I think we've circled around at least 3 times. I think we brought this beef. What would be your takeaway?
Don't be an asshole.
That's a good one.
I don't even know if I'm going to even say anything after that. Thank you for joining us. You better come back again. Subscribe. Text. Oh, and by the way, if there's a bourbon that you love, and by the way, there's no bad bourbon. It's just what you like to drink.
Oh,
Let us
nice.
know what you want to drink, and I'll profile it here, and we'll give you a shout out. Eddie, thanks for being here. It's such a
Thanks for having
you're
me.
precious.
Love seeing Eddie.
And we're going to do it again.
We'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast hosted by Dawn Roy. Have real estate or bourbon questions or a juicy story you want us to talk about? Call our hotline at 804-293-0550 and maybe you can be on our podcast. This has been a Studio 77 production. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast.